crafts have been receiving a lot of attention in the last few years. There are many reasons why people want to use their hands to create something. Here's our special report. Meet sisters Khadija and Hala Zughair from Hebron in the West Bank. They learned how to crochet from their mother and started an online craft business. But for Khadija and Hala, it's not all about making a profit. They are now using this craft to help their communities. The sisters first started making baby clothes and selling them via their Facebook page. But the handmade dolls and toys that they saw on the internet made an impression on them, and they were inspired to develop new products. Their creations became very popular, and Khadija and Hala realized that they could train local women to crochet so that they could start their own businesses and make a living. Local organizations helped the sisters to train over 200 women living in Hebron. The products that the women produce sell for as much as $40. This income is important for the makers and their families and allows them to help their communities. The sisters' long-term plan is to open a shop selling their own and other makers' creations. Customers seem to prefer buying unique local handmade products rather than mass-produced imports from factories in other countries, as long as the quality is good. In Kigali, Rwanda, tailors like Alexander Shimimana are hard at work. They're sewing masks to protect Rwandans during the COVID-19 pandemic, and they're using locally produced fabric called katang. Katang is beautiful and colorful, but it's also cheap to use. The masks that Alexander makes in Kigali's main market cost 50 US cents, while the masks that pharmacies sell are priced at $2.50. These high prices meant that many people weren't able to protect themselves against the virus. So it made sense for local makers to find a way to make masks more affordable. There have also been problems with supply, as there weren't enough masks for everyone in the community. Alexander and the other tailors are helping to fight the pandemic by making masks more available to Rwandans.
We are trying to protect ourselves to limit the affection of the people during this virus attacking. But this also is kind of opportunity to some people making money. Also, is an opportunity as to innovate.
And in New York City, where knitting has been a big trend for some time, men's knitting groups are taking off. At a studio in Brooklyn, men meet up to knit and chat every Thursday evening. So what attracts men to knitting? One man says that knitting can show people the value of making an effort.
It gives me a sense of creating. It gives me a sense of accomplishment, of seeing a project, starting it from the beginning, and then seeing it through.
However, it hasn't always been easy for men to get started with knitting.
I guess growing up, I saw like my mother and my grandmother and my aunts doing stuff like this. And so I was always curious. And then, but I had this, I guess, hang up that knitting is not for guys, right? It's for girls and women. And I guess when I was in my early 30s, I decided I think I'm old enough to make my own decisions about what is for men and what is not. So I went to YouTube and I started looking up like tutorials and stuff, and that's how I taught myself how to knit.
Now, these knitters are out to make changes to traditional ideas about gender and crafts.
It doesn't matter, whether you're a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter. If you're passionate about something, then that's what matters.
Lewis operates an online knitting business from home that produces hats, scarves, and baby clothes, which sell for as much as $125. He has been a knitter for about 10 years. In 2017, a photo of him knitting on the New York subway went viral. Because of this photo, both men and women have made contact with Boria to share their own knitting stories. And he has also started doing knitting workshops in local schools. It really seems like crafts are making a big impact on people all over the world. Maybe no one's making a fortune from crafts, but there are certainly other benefits.